All right. So, welcome everybody to this week's Shelter in Studio. We're very, very excited to be speaking with and getting a tour of Grendl Löfkvist studio. Many of you have taken classes with Grendel before at the San Francisco Center for the Book. Grendel is the education director at the Letterform Archive. She teaches type history and theory at Type West, which is the Letterform Archive's year-long postgraduate certificate program in type design. She's also an instructor at City College of San Francisco and teaches calligraphy with the center. Grendel has ink in her veins. She was an offset press printer for 20 years, and she serves on the board of directors for the American Printing History Association's NorCal chapter. Her interests include the study of printing as a subversive Black art, and she's always on the lookout for bizarre or macabre print, type, and lettering lore. So I'm going to hand it over to Grendel in just a nanosecond here, and she is going to give us a tour of her studio. All right, Grendel, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jenny, and thank you to the Center for inviting me uh, to present to you today. Speaking of the American Printing History Association, I just want to put in a plug. The Ways Goose is happening next week, the AFA Ways Goose. And this shirt that I'm sporting today was a shirt that we made for the American Printing History Association a few years ago. So let me first give you a warm welcome to the print shop at the Necropolis, which is my house. It's a little chilly here in the basement. Like I said, it's kind of like the catacombs in Paris. The temperature never changes year round. So if I start bouncing around, it's because I'm freezing cold. Um, and we have a few of my friends here today. This one especially I'd like to introduce to you because he just voted, as he hopes you all will as well in the upcoming election. Okay. He earned his sticker. So let me share some slides with you, and then I'll give you a little tour of some other prints that I've done and of the studio. Okay, so share screen. Uh-huh. Okay. So I am the proud proprietor of two different imprints, is my own conceit. And the first one here is Cloven Hoof Press, which is my anarcho satanic print side. And that's what usually produces all my Halloween and Day of the Dead products. So this is the very first Day of the Dead card that I did in 1999 for Cloven Hoof Press. And it's, it's a little raw, but hey, it was 1999. And I hand colored it myself afterwards, after printing linoleum and some lead type. Um, and then we went on to greater things. So every year I try to produce a Day of the Dead card or a Halloween card. I mean, they're kind of close. That's the one holiday that is truly meaningful to me. And so you can see here's a smattering of Day of the Dead cards past. These are mostly linoleum cuts that I did. And then, as you can see, I'm a big skull fan. And here's some others that I did that are more photographically based, right? Including that x-ray of my own hand after I fell down the BART escalator and smashed up my pinky finger. That was pretty horrifying. But it's back working for us mostly. It doesn't really straighten out anymore, but hey. And then, so some of these photographs of skulls I took in the Fontanelle cemetery catacombs in Naples, Italy. And that is one spooky place, let me tell you. What else do I have? So on the back of my Day of the Dead cards, I usually put a little memento mori, which is just a remember you also are going to die. quotation, such as "Life is short, hope is fragile. Come, the lamp is lit. While there is light, let us drink." Or quotes from the Paris catacombs, which is always good fodder for Day of the Dead quotations. Um, Here, occasionally I succumb to a Valentine card printing because we are incurable romantics here at Cloven Hoof Press. So this is one Valentine's card I did. And here's another one celebrating the martyrdom, decapitation, flaying, scourging, etc. of poor old Saint Valentine in ancient Rome, celebrating Valentine's Day. So, but usually we don't succumb to romance. And that is my little mark. Okay, thank you. And now I'm going to show you, I'm going to unpin my video and show you some of my other projects, which are more political in orientation, done under the Red Star Agitprop imprint. So you may know that I was a press operator for a long time at Inkworks Press in Berkeley, which was a real, movement print shop, a political print shop. And that closed in 2015. Wow, it's been a long time. But I have continued the political tradition at Red Star, which I produce prints here and take them to demos and rallies and hand them out, basically. And I also collaborate sometimes with a loose group of silkscreen printers who show up at rallies and print stuff. And that's the Poster Syndicate based in San Francisco. But let me hold up a few prints for you to check out. I always print on the same format, right? So here's a Abort the Patriarchy print because I am totally done with people trying to control my uterus. And this is who I was really rooting for in the election. So I did a, multicolored print for Bernie. Unfortunately, it didn't seem to have helped the election, but I still love him. And so these prints are kind of a cool process that I learned at from some people at Mills, which is you've got a letterpress, but you don't have to, use the inking rollers all the time. You can treat it like a monoprint and just use brayers and ink things up separately. So I've done a whole bunch of colors on here. I'm not the most colorful person usually. It's usually red and black, mostly black with a little bit of red, sometimes gray. Okay, but for political posters, you got to be eye-catching. So I did this one for Ilhan Omar because I love Ilhan also, with a little drop shadow. And one of the other things I'm going to say about letterpress printing, I don't know about you guys, but for me, every print sort of evolves on press. I never go on press with something totally clear in my mind that then happens. So I'm always making little adjustments or figuring things out. And sometimes I get a pleasant surprise and something turns out unexpectedly really cool. And then other times it ends up in the recycle bin. But what else do we got here? Oh yeah, so I'm really pretty sick of the current regime. So I made this cool one inspired by some Amos Kennedy prints where he puts the colors in the background and then prints black on top. Red, white, and blue, patriotic. And I'm so sick of the current administration that we did this one. And yes, I know it is not an M, it's actually W. You got to work with what you got. You have a handful of big, lovely wood letters, but you don't have W. Got an M, or vice versa. Flip it. Mm-hmm. Okay, what else? Yeah, so we are really sick of the current administration. Not that we're advocating, anything nasty, but here we do like this typeface. super, super condensed Tuscan. In fact, I liked it so much, I did an Earth Day print with it. Um, Once again, this is that monoprint style where you kind of roll over it with a couple different brayers. Um, and one thing I will say about this lovely condensed typeface, you got a letter space that becomes totally illegible. And what else? Yeah. Internationalism, peace, and justice are some of the tenets that we held at Inkworks Press where I used to work, and so I tried to carry some of that sentiment over. Really, we need to quit the intervention. This is my own bloody handprint, with little fingertips soaked in oil. And then once again, the limitations of letterpress printing. I only had one big F. So I had to do two runs, and the second run just dropped in the second F. Got to work with what you got. Wood type's hard to come by. And then here's a couple that I did for recent political protests, specifically like when Black Lives Matter and injustice, police brutality going on. I did this because one of the things I should point out, this necropolis where I am located actually used to be a panther house back in the day. The Aoki family lived here. So I'm trying to carry that panther tradition forward. And then here's a little another print just urging people to defund and dismantle police. We could spend that money a lot better. And then, but you gotta have a sense of humor, right? So here's my last one I'm going to share with you. Rise up and crush the fascist insects. One more little thing. Now I know I think defacing currency might be a crime, but I made this little stamp to replace the slave owners on the $20 bill. Instead, now we celebrate Harriet Tubman. And I whipped up a few of those for circulation. So here's my print shop. I'm surrounded by my former printers devils who never made it past their apprenticeship. Just kidding. I would never off any devil of mine. I will introduce you to some of the presses in my shop and where they came from. First of all, here's the Vandercook. Let me angle this a little bit. This lovely machine, SP15, was actually provenance from Betsy Raymond. This is Betsy, and I thank her every day for bestowing this machine upon me. I also got some great wood type from her as well. Then the other press that you see in the background that's covered with skulls is my Chandler and Price new style 8x12. And I usually use that to imprint the backs of cards with and smaller projects like that. There's a ghost in that machine. I'm going to say it like always acts up a little bit when I start running a job, and then miraculously everything settles in and it behaves. Knock on wood anyway, right? And then I have a cutter which had interesting history before I picked it up. Let me see if I can turn this around real quick. Then you get a tour of my basement. And that's my lovely cutter, which came from Iota Press and Eric Johnson. When they upgraded their cutter, then I inherited that one, and it served me well. And the last press that I have here, well, okay, two more little presses to discuss. I have a adorable little Kelsey 3x5 that I got from my one of my devils, actually, Vivian Park. And that one I love because you can actually take it places. I'm an instructor, right, at City College and at the Center for the Book and at Type West, which is Letterform Archives type design program. And this little press can actually come with me. So when we can finally have class in a classroom full of students again, then I'll be able to bring that press with me and people can print things. And then finally, I have an etching press, which also came from a former Devil student of mine, Sean Osborne. When he got his print shop, he decided it came with this etching press and he gifted it to me, which is very sweet. It's in the other room and I won't walk you in there because you'll get dizzy and feel ill. But what else? I also finally, the last compliment to my workshop is a little baby foiler that you can see maybe in the background next to the skull. And it is super small, but it is also just a little wondrous touch to add onto your various projects. Little glimmer of foil. I even have matte black foil, which is my favorite. Let's see. I'll show one secret print, which is the last project I did on the etching press. And I need to get it on some better paper, but this is a proof. So this was another little Day of the Dead project with as many skulls as you want. You can tell I'm quite fond of skulls. Does anybody have any questions so far as we're doing the whirlwind tour? I have some type. Okay, I'm going to show you a piece of big type. And I don't want to walk you over there because I don't want anyone to become ill. But I mostly print from photopolymer plates. That's for the like Day of the Dead projects, etc. And then wood type, which is all the political projects, because you got to go big and loud, and wood type is the best way to do that. So I have some magnificent, super large wood type. Yeah, right. Go big, go wood. Woohoo! Yeah. So this is 50 line. And one of the coolest things about the big wood type is that you can actually see like the router marks inside the counters, which is just a big thrill to me to recognize the handmade nature of this object that I'm working with. And I don't want to take these things for granted. It's amazing the history and craftspersonship that went into the construction of these old letter forms. And I'm thrilled that they're surviving into the 21st century, right? Okay, I'm going to drop this off while you think of your questions.
Oh, there are questions already, Grendel. Don't you worry.
Oh, okay.
All right. So are you ready?
Yeah.
We'll do questions.
A sip of water.
That's right. Now you're prepared. Yeah. Good. So let's see. We have, oh yeah, okay. Wow, we've got tons of great questions. So Molly is interested in knowing what is the spookiest thing that's ever happened at the printing press or to a print that you've created?
Ooh, the spookiest thing that ever happened here. Well, let's see. So it's not very spooky, but I swept up a little bit today in preparation for this, and I didn't realize I actually had a third black cat who emerged from the myriad piles of cat fur that have been deposited all around the studio. And then, like I said, there is a ghost in my press in the C&P that always makes an appearance every time I print on it. But I have confidence because I know that it will work itself out as the print run goes on. Anything else? Anything else spooky? Gosh, I don't know. Let me have another question while I mull
Okay,
over
okay.
spooky.
I've got plenty. Tim would like to know more about your tiny foiler.
Oh God. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna bring it over because it's
Okay, yeah, do
cute.
it.
So I got this spoiler. This is one of those amazing scores where I like occasionally peruse Craigslist and, just like type in, wood type printing, whatever. And I've been looking for foilers for a long time because they're so rad, right? And they're always like $800 or something. I'm just like, no, that's not happening. I don't have that in my budget. And then I found this one and it is,
Tell us.
let me grab it. It's so portable. Okay.
Oh my God, it's twee.
It's so tiny. See it? And so I was stamping with it earlier. You can see the little G in the
Yeah.
skull on there. And it came with a bunch of type that's specially made for foiling. And it's a Kingsley, and I don't know what else it says. It takes up to 18 point type, I think. So maybe it's called a Kingsley 18. I'm not sure, but it's just a real charmer. My God, no print shop should be without one. Let me put that back and don't ask me to. Oh well, I'll lift the other press up for you too, and
What?
just
No, 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 no. There's other questions.
Ugh.
Right? I know. You're tough. I know you could do it.
Yeah.
So let's see. Mary is interested in knowing more about your black letter love. Yeah.
Well,
Tell us.
it's funny because I just did a workshop yesterday for the Hamilton Ways Goose that is also being presented by the American Printing History Association, of which I am a proud member, and Jenny is also. And we did a whole workshop on the black letter script of Rudolf Koch, who is one of my very favorite type designers, but he was also a master calligrapher. And his black letter is just super cool and funky and expressionistic, really raw and vital. And I really admire that and love it. And we have some examples, some actual physical specimens of Rudolf Koch at the Letterform Archive. So when the pandemic is over, I encourage you all to come by there and visit and check it out. And I have a little black letter type here at the print shop, but not nearly enough. My goal is to get some of that Saxonbald that they have at Bixler Foundry one of these days. I studied black letter and Gothic textura mainly for years with Ward Dunham, who is an absolute master of his craft. And he's now, semi-retired and living in Half Moon Bay, which is too far to travel for me most days. But he and his partner, Linnea Lundquist, who is a type designer, used to host a wonderful black letter workshop that met every month called Black Sabbath. That's where I got my feet wet with black letter.
Who else do you admire? Who else inspires you calligraphy wise?
Well, I have a pal, Uriel Miro, who is Catalan, and he does some amazing stuff. So I would definitely check him out. Like he's a fan of Rudolf Koch, and so he falls in that category. And John Stevens is awesome as well, right? Let's see, Rudolf Koch, John Stevens.
You got the three. Yvette's interested in knowing what fascinates.
Raul Martinez.
Oh, Raul Martinez.
And you could take classes from him at the Center for the Book.
Yeah, Raul's great.
Black letter and copperplate calligrapher.
Yeah, and he's local, so.
And he's local. You can hunt him down.
Let's see. Yvette wants to know what fascinates you about Day of the Dead because she is also a big fan.
Well, I've been a, metalhead for years, and I just feel like we're that. So I have that aesthetic as well, right? A bit gothic, a bit metal, and I just feel at home with all these lovely skulls. It's, something we don't talk about in our society is mortality. We just kind of pretend it doesn't exist and we're all immortal. And I think it's really important, if you're going to enjoy your life to the fullest, you have to remember that any day could be the end. So I think that really inspires me to try to do as much as I possibly can while I can, right?
And I
Plus, I have
think,
black cats. I have 2 black cats.
oh, wait,
And
but 3, right? You just found
3,
one in your studio.
I got to come up with a name for that one. But Inky and Catonius are my 2 black cats, and I love them both to death.
Okay, Shelter in Studio attendees, it's time to think up a name for Grendel's new black cat. Just saying. Just saying. Let's see. We've got one more question before we wrap up. And someone suggested Dusty as a new name.
That's quite
Yeah.
appropriate.
Yeah. Someone else says Sumi. There's tons of good suggestions here. All right, so last question of the day. Do you have any examples of your own calligraphy that you could show? Do you have anything handy? Yeah, Lori's interested in seeing. It's okay to say no.
Actually, hang on. Let's see if any of these had some calligraphy of my own on them. Oh no, it's all type. I'm so dumb. I should have brought some calligraphy down. Oh, well, okay. So this is I do.
Okay.
This is my own calligraphy, which I turned into some polymer plate to print on this Day of the Dead card. So nice. This is pretty much my style. So I think this is appropriate. But yeah, this is calligraphy and print. Thanks for asking.
Hey, there's three new cat names. Do you want to hear them?
Yes.
Bete Noir.
Perfect.
Zap. ZAPH. See, this is the group, dude. And Ink Spot.
Inky would probably be irritated if I named another cat Ink Spot. See, there she goes.
Oh, wow.
She heard her name. She's probably headed for the litter box, which is actually right next door to the print shop. And,
Hey, this is a family show. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess on that note, we'll wrap it up for this week's Shelter in Studio. But Grendl, thank you so much for taking your time and sharing your work with us. This has been fantastic.
Thank you again for inviting me.
Oh man, it's so great. It's always a pleasure to talk with you.
Thanks for joining, buddy.
Oh, and what I will say is that next week we're going to have Rhiannon Alpers as our Shelter in Studio guest, so you can come back by. We're always here on Thursday afternoons from 12:30 to 1. I will also mention that the best way to stay current on our events and programs is to either visit our website, www.sfcb.org, or subscribe to our newsletter. All right, everybody, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you online. Bye. Thank you, Grendl.